Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Caitanya Caritāmrta overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from Chaitanya Charitāmrita, Adi Leela. We are on last chapter. Today we will be completing this Adi Leela pastimes. So far in the 17th chapter, Kaviraj Goswami has explained various pastimes which Lord Chaitanya has performed in his youth. And last time we discussed how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he developed this desire to take sannyas because he wanted to deliver everyone, but some people were running away from his mercy. He had come to drown everyone in this river of love of God, but some people were running away. Keha keha mahadaksha dhaiya palaya e banyaye tasabar chuite narila tasabar dubainu ami karimu yatan. He was trying to drown everyone, but some people were running away. So therefore he thought, I'll take sannyas. And if I take sannyas, everybody will fall at my feet. Nobody will beat me. Sannyasira sarvaloka kore namaskar. Sannyasira kehaloka na kare prahar. That is from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Nobody tries to, beat a sannyasi. So thinking like this for the welfare of the whole world, that Supreme Lord who is Akhila Koti Brahmand Nayak, who has the entire world under his control, he took sannyas. He went to Katwa. And before that, Keshav Bharati Maharaj, he once came to Navadvip. Mahaprabhu, he revealed his heart to Keshav Bharati and said, I want to take sannyas, please give me. So Keshav Bharati said, you are the Supreme Lord. How can I, disobey your instructions? So then on a particular day, Mahaprabhu went to Katwa and he took sannyas in front of, and there were only 3 associates there. Nityanand Prabhu, Chandrasekhar Acharya, and Mukunda Datta. So we discussed till 274th verse. We'll continue from 275th verse. The emotions of Lord Chaitanya and the various devotees. So now Kaviraj Goswami is explaining at this Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in this world, he is Krishna himself. He is the same Supreme Lord. Again, now he's explaining that in the end of this Adi Leela. And now he'll explain the various moods of various devotees, starting from Lord Krishna himself, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Yashodanandan hoila Shachiranandan Chaturvida Bhakta Bhava Kore Aswadan. That same Supreme Lord, who is the Yashodanandan, who is son of Yashoda, becomes Shachiranandan. Brajendra Nandan Jai Shachi Shuta Hoilo Sei Balarama Hoilo Nitai. So that Supreme Lord, who is son of Yashoda, he becomes son of Shachi. Why? To relish the four mellows of devotion. Chari bhave bhakti diya nachamu bhuvan. That's why he has come to give this prema bhakti in the mood of madhurya, dasya, vatsalya, sakhya. Swamadhurya radha prema rasa aswadite. Radha bhava angi koriyache bhalamate. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why he has appeared, why Krishna has appeared in the mood of, in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? To understand and to taste the mellows of love of Srimati Radharani. That is the internal reason. Three internal reasons for the appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva Swadyo Yenadbhuti Madhurima Kidrisho Vetti Lobhat Saukhyam Chasya Madhunubhavata Kidrisho Vanayaiva. So he appears for three reasons: to glorify the love of Srimati Radharani. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima. What is the extent of Radharani's love? To understand his own sweetness. What is there in me which devotees are experiencing? I want to taste that. And to experience the bliss which these devotees are experiencing. Swamadhurya Radha Prema Rasa Aswadite. To experience and taste this love and the mellows of Radharani's love and the pleasure which Krishna has in him, he appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Bhava Angi. He takes the bhav of Srimati Radharani and appears in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhupada writes in the purport, he quotes from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's Anubhashya. He says, Sri Gaur Sundar is Krishna himself with the mood of Srimati Radharani. And he never gives up the attitude of the gopis. He's always in the mood of gopis only. So one should never ever, worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a enjoyer. He's always in the mood of being enjoyed by Krishna. He's always in the mood of gopis and Srimati Radharani, experiencing the love and separation from Krishna. Kaviraj Goswami describes in great detail in one of the pastimes when all the Brajvasis, they go to Kurukshetra during the solar eclipse. And there Radharani is meeting Krishna, and he has the form, he has the dress of a king, a helmet, all the royal clothes, jewelry, no peacock feather, no gopavesha, no venu. So she's not able to relate with him. And then she says, have you forgotten Vrindavan? Have you forgotten Govardhan? How can you forget Yamuna, where we performed so many pastimes? How can you forget Brajvasis? Or how can you forget your father and mother? Vrindavan, Govardhan, Yamuna, Pulinavan, Saisabara, Sadika Leela. Brajajanera, Brajajan, Mata, Pita, Bandhu, Gana, Bara, Chitra, Kema, Nepasarila. That is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is speaking all these words in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So therefore, Prabhupada writes that he is never accepted. He has never accepted the part of predominator. He is always in the mood of gopis. So therefore, we should always be careful not to do rasa bhas. Just like some sahajiyas like Gauranga Nagaris, they say, oh, Krishna and Mahaprabhu, they are same. So let Mahaprabhu enjoy Rasa Leela. That is not right. That is not pleasing to the Lord. Prabhupada writes, lusty materialists, like the members of Sahajiya Sampradaya, they hanker after women, other men's wives. And you know what they did? What they say? They ascribe their lusty activities to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Oh, Mahaprabhu is, Krishna, and he should dance with other gopis because he is Krishna. We are followers of Mahaprabhu. He says they become offenders. at the feet of Swarup Damodar Goswami and Kaviraj Goswami and Vrindavan Das Thakur. Because these personalities, they have very strongly and very clearly described the Tattva of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if somebody is not understanding the Tattva of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and behaving in a irrational way and irresponsible way, it is an offense. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his personal conduct, he was so very strict. He was a very strict sannyasi. He would not allow any lady to come near him. He would not joke with any lady, even during his youthful pastimes when he was not a sannyasi. Chaitanya Bhagavad describes Adi Khanda, chapter 15. Prabhupada is quoting, Sabe par strira prati nahi parihas, stri dekhi dure Prabhu hai na ek pash. Mahaprabhu in his youthful pastimes, he would be very happy and humorous. He would joke with everyone, but he would be very, very careful and very strict. He would never ever joke with his wife also. There is no mention. What to speak of any other ladies. Whenever he would see a lady coming, he would give her ample room to pass by and he would not talk to anyone. That was a standard of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, if somebody says, oh, Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, he can also perform Rasa Leela. No, that is Rasabhas, that is Sahajiya. So Prabhupada writes, Gauranga Nagari party is not approved by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Vrindavan Das Thakur. So then Kaviraj Goswami continues. What is this mood of gopis which Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had? He says, gopis, their ecstatic mood is so highest that only it is manifested before Krishna and nobody can imitate it. When Krishna appears in the beautiful form of Shyamasundar, having peacock feather, wearing a yellow dhoti and Gunjamala, Gopavesha, Shyamasundar, Shikhi Pucha Gunja Vibhushan, Gopavesha Tribhangima Murali Badan. He is wearing a Gunjamala and then Gopavesha, playing his flute. This form generates such feelings in the heart of gopis that nobody else can, exhibit that. That is, Lord Sri Krishna. And that is how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always. He was always in the mood of these gopis, feeling separation from Krishna, who has a bluish complexion, Shyam Sundar having a peacock feather on his head, Shikhi Picha, Gunja Vibhushan, he has a Gunja Mala. Gopavesha Venukara Navakishora Natavara Nara Lila Hoy Anurup. Another place Kaviraj Goswami says that Krishna is always in the mood of as a cowherd boy, Gopavesha. He has a Venu, flute in his hand, he is always playing. So Tribhanga Murali Vadan. So when Krishna appears in this mood, in his original form, not even as Vishnu, because even Vishnu cannot invoke the ecstatic mood of the gopis, only Krishna. They feel like, when Vishnu appears in front of them, they feel like he's a supreme Lord Narayan, he is not our Krishna. Kaviraj Goswami quotes from Lalit Madhav of Rupa Goswami. One day, Krishna playfully exhibited the form of Narayan. And he had 4 hands. When all the gopis, they saw this form, they were very astonished. And Krishna, when he saw these gopis so very astonished, he was, very happy, because that's what the purpose was. But these gopis, their feelings were, crippled. They were not experiencing that joy as they would experience seeing Krishna. And then Rupa Goswami says that even a learned scholar cannot understand the feelings of gopis which they have when they see Krishna. And what happened during this Rasa Leela? During the season of spring, Sharada, just before Rasa Leela, Krishna, he disappeared from the scene because he wanted to be with Radharani. All the gopis, they were searching. And Krishna was sitting in a solitary place. And all the gopis, they were searching, they found Krishna. So he was caught. They were saying, hey, there is Krishna. He's sitting there. He wanted to hide himself. So what he did, he manifested two more arms. He manifested form of Narayan. He appeared stunned like the deity of Lord Narayan. And the gopis, when they came near, they realized he is not Krishna, he is Supreme Lord Narayan. And they started offering prayers to Lord Narayan. They said, oh Supreme Lord Narayan, please be merciful, give us the association of Krishna. And then they left. But then Radharani came. And when Radharani appeared there, Krishna, he tried to hold on to the two more hands, but he could not. Love of Radharani is so highest that Krishna cannot maintain the Vishnu form in front of Srimati Radharani. And the two arms, they disappeared. So that's how Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always in the mood of gopis headed by Srimati Radharani. That she forced Krishna to appear in the two-handed form. Again, Kaviraj Goswami quotes another verse from Ujjvala Neelamani of Srila Rupa Goswami, where the same thing is described. Rasaramba vidau niliya vasata kunje mrijakshi ganai drishtam gopaitum swamuddharadhiya yashushtu sandarshita adhaya pranayasya hanta mahimayasya shriya rakshitum sa shakya prabhavishnunapi harina nasi chatur bahuta. He is Prabhavishnu, he is Supreme Lord who is all powerful, but love of Srimati Radharani is so great. Pranaya Mahima, the greatness of love of Srimati Radharani is so much that he could not even maintain his two more arms. Chaturbahuta. The two arms disappeared. That is the glory of her love. So Kaviraj Goswami is describing all that. And then he says, the various emotional devoted services of the various devotees of the Lord. So Nanda Maharaj, who is the king of Braja, he appeared as Jagannath Mishra. Shachi and Yashoda, who is the queen of Braja, he is Vrajeshwari. She appeared as the mother of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shachi Devi. And then Balaramji, who is the brother, he appeared as Nityananda Prabhu. And he is always there serving Krishna. Just like Balaram is serving Krishna in various modes, sometimes in the mood of Sakhya, Dasya, Vatsalya, even Madhurya. Nityananda Prabhu, he serves Krishna in the mood of Vatsalya, Sakhya, and Dasya. So that is the role, that is the service of Sri Nityananda. He always assists Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in various ways. And that Nityananda Prabhu, he appeared to flood the entire world with this love of God. That's why he wanted to give this love of God even to Jagai Madai, because he was thinking, if these two drunkards, they take the name of my Lord, then my Lord will be glorified everywhere. Therefore, Marakhe Prem De Aparato Naiye, he was ready to be beaten by them, but he was ready, he wanted to give love of God to everyone. So therefore, he has a mood of devotion, he has a mood of Sakhya and Dasya. And then Advaitacharya, he is a Supreme Lord Mahavishnu who appears as, a devotee. And although he is Mahavishnu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considers him his superior because he is like his guru. He is the god brother of Ishvara Puri. Both are the disciples of Madhavendra Puri. So, and we have heard this in detail how Mahaprabhu was always treating Advaitacharya as his spiritual master, and Advaitacharya didn't like it. So he planned, he wanted to experience the Dasya Bhava. And he started speaking from Yoga Vashishta, which is a Mayavad literature. And when devotees, they told Mahaprabhu that Advaita is speaking from Yoga Vashishta, he came running and he started beating Advaitacharya. And Sita Thakurani, she was crying, she was pleading, oh my lord, please don't beat him, he's an old man, he will die. And then Advaitacharya was very happy. Now you have accepted me as your servant, oh my lord. And then Mahaprabhu realized that he has been tricked. So therefore, he has a natural attitude of Dasya. And all the devotees headed by Srivas Thakur, they are also serving the Lord in various emotions. And then there are various personal associates like Gadadhar Pandit, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Ramananda Rai, all the Goswamis of Vrindavan. So Prabhupada in the purport, he describes about these devotees. Who are they? According to Gaur Ganuddesh Deepika, a book written by Kavi Karnapur, where he explains the original Swarup of each and every devotee of Lord Sri Caitanya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared as a devotee, Nityanand Prabhu appeared as assistant, none other than Baladev. And here Prabhupada writes that Advaitacharya, he is actually a incarnation of Sadashiva from spiritual world. So that is, from Gaur Ganuddesh Deepika. In Chaitanya Charitāmrta, Kaviraj Goswami mentions that he is the avatar of Mahavishnu. Gaur Ganuddesh Deepika mentions he is the avatar of Sadashiv. So therefore, he is considered to be a combined incarnation of both. So among these Panchatattva, there are two Prabhu, one Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and two Prabhus are Nityanand Prabhu and Advaitacharya. Ek Mahaprabhu ar Prabhu duijan, dui Prabhu seve Mahaprabhura charan. That comes in the 7th chapter Adi Leela. All these two Prabhus, Nityanand Prabhu and Advaitacharya, they are engaged in serving Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. So then Kaviraj Goswami describes that in Krishna Leela, Krishna has a blackish complexion, he has a flute, and he is a cowherd boy. Now the same Krishna has become Gauranga. He has a fair complexion. He is born as a son of a Brahmana, and he accepts renounced order of life sometimes. Swarna Varna Hemango Varangash Chandanangadi Sannyasa Krishrama Shanta Nishtha Shanti Parayana. This is from Mahabharata, Vishnu Sahasranam. Bhishmadev is describing the appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Swarna Varna Hemanga. He has a golden complexion and his body is smeared with Chandan. Varangas Chandanangadi. He takes sannyas krit. Shrama Shanta Nishtha Shanti Parayana. He spreads the supreme peace by spreading this chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So therefore, that Lord, when he appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is always in the mood of the gopis headed by Srimati Radharani. And he's always calling Krishna as, oh my Lord of life. O son of Nanda Maharaj, my dear husband. So that is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Krishna, but he has accepted the mood of gopis. How to understand this? It is so inconceivable. But only Krishna can do it. He has that Achintya Shakti. Nobody else can do it. There is a Virodha Bhanjika Shakti of the Lord. There are so many contradictory things which only Krishna can reconcile. Karmanyani hasya bhavo bhavasyate durga shrayo thari bhayat palayanam kalatmano yat pramadayutashrama swatman rate khidyati dhir vidamiha. He has nothing to do in this world, but he is doing so much. He is helping all the Pandavas. He is orchestrating this entire battle of Kurukshetra, becoming a messenger, driver. There is no need for him to do all this. He is unborn. Still he appears as the son of Devaki. Bhavo abhavasyate. Durga Shrayothari Bhayat Palayanam. Are fear personified fears him. Yad Vibheti Swayam Bhayam. Madbhayad Vati Vatoyam Suryastapati Madbhayad Varshati Indro Dhati Agni Mrityushcharati Madbhayat. Krishna is telling, Kapila Devi is telling, out of my fear sun rises. Out of my fear fire is hot. Out of my fear wind is blowing. That Supreme Lord, he becomes fearful and he runs away from the battlefield. Durga Shrayothari and takes shelter of a ford in the ocean. He's self-satisfied. He doesn't need anyone. Kalat manoyat pramadayuta ashrama. Still he is surrounded by 16,000 queens. He marries them. Swatman rate khidyati dhir vidamiha. Even great sober personalities cannot understand how Krishna is doing this. It is inconceivable. Only Krishna can reconcile all these contradictions. As Ishopanishad describes the contradictory features of Lord. Tadejati, tannejati, taddure, tadavantike, tadantarasya sarvasya, tadu sarvasyasya bahyataha. He's near, he's far, he's inside, he's outside. Taddure, tadavantike. That is Krishna. Krishna can do anything. So therefore, there is no confusion. Prabhupada writes, there is such a contradiction is reconciled only in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nobody can do it. He has that Achintya Shakti. Prabhupada writes, Aghata Ghatana Patiyasi. Aghata Ghatan. One time when somebody asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, you have told that Krishna can do anything. Prabhupada said, yes. Then he asked, so can Krishna make a stone which he cannot lift it? And that is a very tricky question. Nobody can, stump Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, yes. Krishna can make a stone which he cannot lift and then he will lift it. So that is Krishna. He can reconcile all the contradictions. And therefore, Prabhupada quotes a bhajan of Narottam Das Thakur. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Akuti Kabe Hama Bhuja Base Yugala Piriti. How to understand this? All these contradictions can be reconciled only when we take shelter of Rupa Raghunath. Otherwise, we will get bewildered. Otherwise, we may doubt the process of Krishna consciousness. How can anything happen like that? How can Krishna do this? It doesn't fit in our logical brain. But that is Krishna. He's beyond our logic. Asamordhva. He's adhokshaja. He's beyond the scope of our senses. Only by taking shelter of the devotees and the acharyas, we can have a glimpse of who is Krishna. Athapi te deva padambuja dvaya prasadaleshanugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno na chanya eko pichiram vichinvan. Only if somebody gets the mercy of the Lord and mercy of the devotees, then he can understand the tattva. Otherwise, it is not possible. Therefore, Kaviraj Goswami says, Ithe tark kori keha nakara sanshay Krishnera chinte shakti mat hoye. Please don't have doubt. Please don't use your logic and argument to understand this inconceivable potency of the Lord. There should be no doubt. Nakara sanshay. Krishna can do anything. Just accept it. How it is possible? We cannot understand. Just accept it that this is inconceivable potency of the Lord. There is something which Krishna can do, which I cannot do. That is called as faith. And if we are not faithful, we will be destroyed. Agyascha ashraddhadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati. A person who is ignorant, faithless, and doubtful, he gets destroyed. But a person who has knowledge, Shraddhavan, but person who has faith, he gets knowledge. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, he gets knowledge. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami says, please don't have doubt. Ithe tarka kari keha na kara sanshay, please don't have doubt. Krishnera achintya shakti ei mata hoye. That is achintya shakti of Krishna. Achintya adbhuta Krishna Chaitanya Vihar. Chitra bhava, chitra guna, chitra vyavahar. Why is saying all this? Because the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are also many times bewildering, inconceivable. Achintya adbhuta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Vihar. Mahaprabhu is dancing and his hands and legs become elongated, and there are gaps of 8 inches between the joints. And when Mahaprabhu is crying in ecstasy, the tears are coming out like syringes, bathing all the devotees. He's rubbing his face against the wall. He is dancing for 2-3 days. All inconceivable. Kaviraj Goswami says, please don't have doubt. Nakara Shanshay, please don't have doubt in the pastimes of the Lord. Have faith. Chitra Bhava, Chitra Guna, Chitra Vyavahar. The pastimes of Lord, the emotions which he shows, it is all amazing and wonderful. And then Kaviraj Goswami gives a warning. If you don't have faith in the pastimes of the Lord, and if you have doubt, you know what will be your destination? If you use your logic to understand the pastimes of the Lord, tarke nahi mane se durachar, kumbhi pake pache tara nahi ko nistar. Actually, Kaviraj Goswami is using very strong words here. Tarke nahi mane. If somebody just uses his logical, mundane argument, and does not accept this, you know what will happen to him? Kumbhi pake pache, he will go to hell. Of the name Kumbhi Pak, he will not be delivered. What is Kumbhi Pak? Kumbhi Pak is a hell where one goes if he, eats living, animals. He cooks living birds and beasts and eat them. He is taken to this hell, and where he is himself boiled in the oil. So basically, Kumbhi Pak is a place, is a hell which is given to people who are envious of other living entities. And if you are envious of Mahaprabhu, if you are thinking, how can he perform all this thing? I cannot do it. It is inconceivable. That means it must not be possible. It is all, false. Kumbhi pake pachetara nahi kanistar. So those who are envious of the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, they'll go to hell. Then Kaviraj Goswami quotes from another scripture. Achintya khalu ye bhava natam starke na yojayet prakritibhya param yacha tad achintyasya lakshanam. Achintya khalu ye bhava. Anything transcendental to the material nature is called as achintya, inconceivable. Natam starkena yojayet. Please don't use your logic and argument. All these arguments, they don't work there. On the spiritual circles, in the spiritual realm, mundane argument doesn't work. Prakritibhya param yacha, because they are beyond. They are param yacha. They are beyond material subject matter. They are transcendental. So how can material, mundane intelligence and argument understand that? Tat achintyasya lakshanam. It is achintya. Please do not try to understand this with your own, material intelligence. Adbhuta Chaitanya Lila Yahara Vishwas. Say Jana Hoy Chaitanya Padapash. Then he says, first he told what is the destination of people who are faithless. And now he's saying what is the destination of people who have faith. Adbhuta Chaitanya Lila Yahara Vishwas. Anybody who has faith, he will achieve the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya. Simple faith is required that whatever Mahaprabhu has done, it is all amazing, transcendental. We may not be able to understand, all these ecstatic symptoms he is manifesting. Hairs are standing on end and his body becomes like a shimuli tree. Shimuli tree has, lots of, eruptions. So when we have goosebumps, they are very, very small. Mahaprabhu, when his body, comes in ecstasy, his body has goosebumps like shimuli tree. It is inconceivable. And then after some time, he is in ecstasy and nobody can understand whether he is alive or dead. That's what happened when Mahaprabhu, he ran to see Lord Sri Jagannath. And as soon as he took darshan of the Lord, he went into ecstasy. And these gatekeepers of Jagannath temple, they were about to throw him, thinking that he is some sentimental person. But Sarvam Bhattacharya, he realizes that, he looks like a very, very effulgent sannyasi. He tests, he keeps a cotton swab under his nose and it doesn't move. He realizes that he is actually in bhava. Although he's a Mayavadi, but he understands that this personality is actually in another state. So therefore, all these pastimes, they are inconceivable to understand. But if we have just faith, Sei Jana Yai Chaitanyera Padapash, that is the destination of a person who is faithful. That's all. Simple faith is required. So after describing, he says, what is the result of hearing all this? Phalastuti. Prasange kohilaye siddhante rasar, ei iha shune shuddha bhakti hoye tar. Anybody who hears this description which I have given, he will develop Shuddha Bhakti. He develops unalloyed devotional service. Just simple faith is required. But many times we start questioning. Our mind can't believe all this. So therefore, pure devotional service doesn't arise in the heart. Then he says, if I repeat all these conclusions, then I'll relish it more. Just like Vyasadeva, he has described in Srimad Bhagavatam all the wonderful pastimes of Krishna, and then he also repeated it. Shukdev Goswami does it. Vyasadeva does it. He does it in the 12th canto of Bhagavatam. Suta Goswami there summarizes all the wonderful pastimes of whole Bhagavatam. 12th canto, 12th chapter, verse number 43. He describes all the wonderful pastimes of the Lord, and then he summarizes the entire narration of the pastimes of Lord Krishna and all the various cantos in detail in 43 verses. So Kaviraj Goswami says, Vyasadeva did it, I will also do. So then he starts enumerating all the chapters of Adi Leela, starting from the first chapter. He says, in the first chapter, I offered Mangalacharan. He began with, offering obeisances to Guru Tattva, Pancha Tattva, Vande Gurun, Ish Bhaktan, Isham, Ishavatarakam, Stat Prakasham, Shatas Shakti, Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. That's how he begins this Chaitanya Caritāmrta. Then, in the second chapter, he describes the Tattva, Chaitanya Tattva. Dvitiye Parichhede Chaitanya Tattva Nirupan, Swayam Bhagavani Brajendra Nandan. He described who is Lord Chaitanya. He is the same Supreme Lord who has appeared in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then in the third chapter, he describes the general reasons, the external reasons for appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya, to fulfill the Yuga Dharma, to inaugurate Sankirtan, and because of the appeals of Advaita Acharya. And then in the fourth chapter, he describes the internal reasons. Chaturthe kohilu janmera moola prayojan, swamadhurya premananda rasa aswadan. The internal reason for appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya, to describe the glories of Srimati Radharani's love, to experience his own sweetness, and to relish the happiness which the devotees are experiencing in serving him. Then, in the 5th chapter, he describes the Nityananda Tattva. Panchame Shri Nityananda Tattva Nirupan, Nityananda Hoila Ram Rohini Nandan. That Lord Nityananda, he is the same Balaram who is the son of Rohini. He has become Nityananda now. So that is explained in the 5th chapter. Then in the 6th chapter, he has explained the Tattva of Advaita Acharya, who is Mahavishnu himself. Shashthe Parichhede Advaita Tattvera Vichar, Advaita Acharya Mahavishnu Avatar. So all these things he is describing. Then 7th chapter, the Panchatattva, Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam, Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam, Bhaktavataram, Bhaktakyam, Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. That is described in the 7th chapter. Then the 8th chapter is a very special chapter. Kaviraj Goswami very elaborately describes, why I am writing this book. Because Vrindavan Das Thakur has already written Chaitanya Bhagavat. It is impudence. Again, write Mahaprabhu's pastimes, but he says, all the devotees of Vrindavan, they wanted to hear some pastimes which are not described in detail by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Because what happened when Vrindavan Das Thakur started describing the pastimes of Lord Nityananda, he went into ecstasy. And he kept on writing in detail. And then the book became very voluminous. Nityananda Leela Varnane Hoila Avesh, Chaitanya Shesha Leela Rahila Avashesh, Saisaba Leela Shunite Vivaran, Vrindavana Basi Bhaktera Utkan Thitaman. So all the devotees in Vrindavan, they wanted to hear those pastimes. They gave me instructions. That's why I'm writing. Otherwise, I have no purpose. I am not, so arrogant to, cross my adhikar. So Kaviraj Goswami has very carefully described only those pastimes which are not described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, even in the Adi Leela. Shri Govinda, Shri Chaitanya, Shri Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Shri Bhakta, Shri Shrotravinda. All these devotees headed by Govinda, Krishna himself, Nityananda, Shri Chaitanya, Shri Advaita, Ara Shri Bhaktavrinda, Shri Rupa, Shri Raghunatha, Shri Sanatan, Shri Jiva Gopaladasa, and all these Goswamis, they all gave me instructions. That's why I'm writing this. So he described in great detail the reason why he has written this book. Then the 9th chapter was amazing. He describes the Bhakti Kalpa Vriksha, the desire tree of devotional service. In that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the gardener and he is the trunk also. Navamite Bhakti Kalpa Vrikshera Pavarnan, Sri Chaitanya Mali Koila Vriksha Aropan. Very beautifully, Kaviraj Goswami compares all the devotees of the Lord headed by Advaita Acharya and Nityanand Prabhu to be various branches of this tree, and how with his own desire, Sinchi Ichha Pani, with his own desire, he has watered this tree of devotion, and when this tree is full with fruits and flowers, he is begging each and every devotee, please help me. How many fruits I'll eat alone? How many fruits I'll distribute alone? I need everyone's help. Bharat Bhumite Manushya Janma Hoila Jar Janam Sartha Kori Kara Para Upakar. That is the 9th chapter. Then in the 10th chapter, he starts describing the branches and the sub-branches of the trunk, main trunk, and how the fruits are distributed. Then in the 11th chapter, he describes a branch called Nityananda Prabhu. 12th chapter describes the branch of Advaita Acharya. They are the two main branches, Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu. Then, after describing 12 chapters, which are the preface, then he starts describing the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, actually starting from the birth. 13th chapter describes the pastimes of the birth. How Shachi Devi, Jagannath Mishra, they were having babies every year, but they were dying. They were praying to Shaligram, they were praying to Lord Vishnu. And then Lord Vishwarup appeared. After this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on the most auspicious day of Purnima, Falgun Purnima. And he inaugurated Sankirtan even before he was born. Everybody was dancing and chanting the names of the Lord, even Muslims. 14th chapter then described the various wonderful childhood pastimes of the Lord. And then the boyhood pastimes are described in the 15th chapter. Hate Khadi, how he learned, to write, and then he was, arguing with Shachi Mata. Why are you not doing Ekadashi? So many pastimes which are described. Then in the 16th chapter, the Kaishora pastimes of the Lord, just prior to the youthful pastimes. There he became very powerful and very, very arrogant scholar. He would defeat everyone in debate. Nobody would like to come in front of him. And all the devotees, they were thinking, just only if Nimai becomes a devotee, it will be amazing. Then the 17th chapter, the last chapter, describes the youthful pastimes of the Lord, where he becomes a great devotee. He goes to Gaya, and then he comes back, and he started describing everything in connection with Krishna. And then so many things are described. So Prabhupada Kaviraj Goswami says that these first 12 chapters, they are the preface. And then after these 12 chapters, I have described 5 transcendental mellows. And he says I have described them very briefly because Vrindavan Das Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu has given me instruction and empowerment. And then he speaks 2-3 beautiful verses, which are the end of the Adi Leela. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Leela Adbhut Ananta Brahma Shiva Sheshayar Nahi Paye Anta. Who can understand the glories, fathomless glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Adbhut, it is Adbhut and Ananta. Even Brahma cannot understand. Shiva, Shesha. Shesha is singing the glories of Lord since the beginning of the creation. He has not come to an end. With his thousands of mouths, he is singing the glories. Gunatmanaste api gunan vimat nantam vidamyahamami munayograchaste maya balasya purushasya kuto varaye gayan gunandash shatanan adideva shesho dhunapi samavastana asya param. Who can understand the glories of the Lord? Even Shesha has not come to an end. Brahma, Shiva, Shesha, nahi paye anta. Even if somebody can count the dust particles of earth, the rays of the sun, the snowflakes, still they cannot understand the glories of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he says, anybody who hears a part of the glories of the Lord, he will get the mercy of Lord. Ye amsha kahe shune se dhanya achire mili betare Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Such wonderful blessings Kaviraj Goswami is giving. Anyone who describes Ei amsha kahe or shune, both get the same benefit. Anyone who describes and anyone who hears any part of this book, achire mili betare Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Very soon they will get the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the merciful nature. That's why he has come, to drown everyone in this love of God. He's just waiting to, find one little desire to give mercy. He is willing to give us ability, but he is waiting for our desire, because our desire is our responsibility. We have to show our desire that we want to develop attraction for Krishna. We want to develop attraction for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. We want to attain the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya. The desire we have to show, and then Krishna will surely reciprocate. And then he says, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Dvaita Nityananda Shrivasa Gadadharadi Yata Bhakta Brinda. All these devotees, Panch Tattva, I offer obeisances to each and every one. Yata Yata Bhakta Gana Vaishya Brindavan Namra Hoya Shire Dharu Tahara Charan. So that's the humility of Kaviraj Goswami, which comes throughout, Chaitanya Charitāmrta. He is writing a PhD literature of Krishna consciousness. He is so humble. He says, and all the devotees who are in Vrindavan, Namra Hoya Shire Dharu Sabara Charan. Because that is the ultimate, essence of practicing bhakti. One should become humble. Because humility only attracts Krishna. Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. In that mood, we can always sing the glories of the Lord. Nothing belongs to us. Everything is given by the Lord's mercy and the devotees' mercy. They have given us capability. They have given us strength. So, Namra Hoya Shire Dharu Sabara Charan. Paya Yara Agyadhan Brajera Vaishnavagan Bando Tara Mukhya Haridas Caitanya Vilas Sindhu Kallo Lera Eka Bindu Tara Kana Kahe Krishna Das. He says, I have got the dhan of Agya. All the Brajvasis, they have given me this instruction. Bando Tara Mukhya Haridas, headed by Haridas, Pandit Haridas. Therefore, I am writing just a particle of the drop of the wave of the ocean of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. It is unlimited ocean. I am just writing a particle of that. And for that also, I need blessings. Shiredhari Namra Hoya Shiredhari Sabhara Charan. Chota Bada Bhaktagan Bando Sabha Shri Charan Sabe Mora Koroha Santosh. Shri Rupa Gosaiyata Rupa Raghunath Janiyata Tai Likhi Nahi Mora Dosh. Chota Bhakta, Bada Bhakta. I offer my obeisances to each and every one. Bando Sabha Shri Charan Sabe Mora Koroha Santosh. Please show mercy to all, to me. Because I am writing only by the mercy of Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. Bando Chota Bada Bhaktagan Bando Sabha Sri Charan Sabe Mora Karo Hasantosh Shri Rupa Gosaiyata Rupa Raghunath Janiyata. Because Rupa Raghunath has given me instruction, that's why I am writing. Nahi Mora Dosh. Please don't consider that I am so impudent. I am just writing whatever instructions they are giving me. Namra Hoya Shire Dharo Sabara Charan Shri Swarupa Shri Rupa Shri Sanatan Shri Raghunath Dasar Shri Jiva Charan Shire Dhari Bando Nitya Karo Tara Ash Chaitanya Charitāmrta Kahe Krishna Das. So in the end of Adi Leela, he offers his obeisances at the feet of all the Goswamis. Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. He is putting his head at the feet of all these great personalities. Shire Dhari Vando Nitya Karo Tar Ash. I am just hoping to serve them. And that's how I am writing Chaitanya Charitāmrta, following in their footsteps. So that is the glory of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, that he is putting this wonderful, most exalted literature in such a humble way, no credit, because actually nothing belongs to us. That's what Arjuna told when Krishna disappeared. He was bringing back all the queens of Krishna, and infidel men, cowherd men came and kidnapped all the queens. He comes back and tells, I am the same warrior. This is the same chariot, same horses, same Gandiva. Still, I could not defeat them. Tadvai dhanushtai shavaratho hayaste soham rathi nripatayastadanamanti. Everything has become null and void. Sarvam shanena tadabhuda sadishariktam bhasmam hutam kuhakaradham ivoptamushyam. Just like a seed sown in a barren land, money created by a magical wand, putting oblations in ash, no result. All my ability was given by Krishna, now it is taken away. So whatever ability we have, it is given by Krishna. And Kaviraj Goswami throughout Chaitanya Charitāmrita, he is again and again emphasizing this, that whatever I have, it is by the mercy of the Lord and the devotees. So with this, we end this Chaitanya Charitāmrita Adi Leela. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Everyone, thank you very much for your patient, attendance, so that we could complete this Adi Leela pastimes. Any questions anybody has? Okay, so very grateful to everyone. We hope to continue Adi Madhya Leela, Anta Leela. Will be putting on the group. Hare Krishna. Shri Chaitanya
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Masta Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.